Hi everyone, Charlotte here from New Zealand Shores. We recently attended a session where the Minister of Immigration, Erica Stanford, spoke extensively about what the government's plans are for the remainder of their current term in government. And one of the things they really want to expand on is the number of international students we have in New Zealand. So we're finally back to pre-COVID numbers in most universities, which is really exciting. But the government's actually looking to double that. So they're looking at making it easier and more accessible for more students to come and study in New Zealand at our universities. All universities are now world ranked, so we have 8 universities here in New Zealand, and their rankings have all gone up internationally in the last 12 months. So New Zealand is a really great destination to come and study. And we thought this was a really good chance to introduce ourselves, not only as immigration advisors, as you know us to be, but also we're education agents, not only for those top 8 universities in New Zealand, but also for a number of private training organisations and our polytechnics here in New Zealand as well. So today is largely going to cover off how we can help you both as immigration advisors and education agents. So we are student visa specialists. We have a number of advisors in our team who are incredibly well versed in the student visa process. So we can hold your hand right from enrolment through to the visa being approved. So just a little recap about us. We are immigration advisors, which means we are licensed by the New Zealand government to provide immigration advice. Our company, New Zealand Shores, was founded in 2009, and a number of our advisors have experience on both sides of the job. So what that means is that they have worked for Immigration New Zealand as well as been immigration advisors, and that gives us a really great advantage as to how immigration actually process applications. And those staff of ours who have worked on both sides of the job have actually given the rest of us some really good training on small things that you wouldn't even know how to look out for unless you'd had that experience working for immigration. Our team is incredibly diverse. So across our team, we have 10 nationalities. Only 3 of us were actually born in New Zealand. So that just goes to show that the vast majority of us have come from around the world and actually migrated themselves. So they know what that process looks and feels like as a migrant. We have 12 immigration advisors and 1 MARA registered advisor. MARA is the Australian authority which allows people to give Australian immigration advice. So we can actually help with each country. So if you're watching this and you decide, actually, I think I might like the idea of Australia, please do reach out and we can connect you with one of our Australian advisors. We have offices in New Zealand and South Africa, which means we can basically work on a 24/7 schedule as we've got both time zones covered around the world. So what is an education agent? An education agent is someone that an education provider has taken on and given training about how their enrolment process works, their course options, and what to look out for. So that gives us the knowledge to be able to help you go through the process with the education advisor and actually choose the right course for you. It isn't just a case of picking any course and deciding, hey, I want to move to New Zealand and study this. If you're actually looking at staying permanently in New Zealand, and even if you're just wanting to have a visa approved, there are certain things that you have to look out for. So the first key component of that is selecting the right course for you. So we can look at your profile, your previous qualifications, your work experience, and your desired outcome. So for example, do you just want to come to New Zealand and study for a year and then head home? Or are you looking at a pathway that will lead to residency? So we can help guide you through what is that ideal course selection for you. We can then, once we've identified that, we can then select a number of different providers and you can then choose the course accordingly, which suits you. As education agents, we do also manage the enrolment, and this is a really key part of the process for us because we actually have portals with each education provider that we can log into and we can enroll you on your behalf. Now, I will talk about this further on, but as long as we actually manage that enrolment directly for you, that means we can assist with your visa service 9 times out of 10 for free because the education provider will then class us as having introduced you to them, which means that they will then actually cover our service fee because we've introduced you to that education provider. And that means we can give you our service at no cost. So you get the benefits of 1, having your enrolment taken care of, and 2, your visa taken care of at no cost to you as well. Standard immigration fees do apply, but again, I'll go over that in a little bit of detail shortly. Once we've got your enrolment completed and your offer of place from your chosen education provider, we then also manage that visa application for you. So we help prepare all of the documentation you're going to provide. You'll work one-on-one with one of our licensed advisors who will guide you through the enrolment process and the visa application process. So as soon as that offer of place comes through, we can actually then go ahead and submit your visa application on your behalf as well. The student pathway, a lot of people say, why come and study in New Zealand? And then even why use New Zealand shores? So New Zealand is a great study destination, but there are a few things to be mindful of. So if you are coming to study in New Zealand and you aren't a New Zealand resident or citizen, you will have to pay international fees. So international fees do vary depending on the course you're choosing and the duration of that course, but that is something you do need to be aware of, that there is a cost. However, depending on where you come from in the world, you may actually find it cheaper to come and study in New Zealand than what it is to study in your home country. We're finding that more and more, a lot of people coming out of different parts of the world that, hey, I can come and study in New Zealand for cheaper than I could at home, and it actually gives me a pathway to residency in New Zealand as well. If you do come and study, depending on your course, you are potentially eligible for what we call a post-study work visa. So that is an open work visa that allows you to remain in New Zealand for a set period of time and allows you to obtain skilled employment. So post-study work visas can be granted for up to 3 years. The duration of the post-study work visa is largely dictated by the course you choose and its duration. So for example, if you're looking at coming in and studying a master's degree, you would actually then be granted a 3-year post-study work visa just because of the level that that master's degree sits at. If you're coming and studying, let's say a 12-month graduate diploma or a postgraduate diploma, you would get a 12-month post-study work visa. So that is a key component that we would look at as part of that course selection, is what will be your post-study work rights and how will that assist you with finding skilled employment in New Zealand once you have completed your course. The really cool thing about the student visa pathway compared to the likes of going through a skilled employment pathway is you can actually choose when you arrive in New Zealand. So typically our most courses in New Zealand start in February and July. However, some universities and education providers do also have other enrolment periods throughout the year. So some may start a semester in November as well. So you can be quite flexible in terms of when you do decide you want to start, and you can then actually plan accordingly. So you know that you can be in New Zealand within a set period of time to actually move without the uncertainty of when am I going to get a job and when am I actually going to be able to land in New Zealand. So it gives you the chance to plan, which is also a really cool factor of this process. Depending on course selection, you may also be able to bring your family with you. So if you have a partner and children, they may be able to move with you. Again, if family are a factor, then we would just drill down into courses which would actually allow you to bring your family with you. Not all courses will allow you to do so based on Immigration New Zealand visa policy. So that can be a really important thing that using the likes of us will actually help you with quite substantially. And as I mentioned previously, and I've mentioned several times throughout the slide, course selection is really imperative to achieve your goals. Like I said, if you want to stay in New Zealand permanently and you want that post-study work visa and you want to bring your family, you do have to choose that course really carefully. So that's, as education agents and immigration advisors, we can tie together both of our knowledge houses and make sure that that pathway will work for you. As I mentioned, our service can be free. So the major caveat to this is that we actually have to enroll you. If you go ahead and enroll yourself, then the university or education provider will not pay our service fee. So it is really imperative that if you are looking at coming and studying in New Zealand and you want the use of an immigration advisor at no cost, then make sure that you do contact us first before you even start contacting universities or education providers. It is important to note that there are a number of education agents based around the world. However, not all of them will be immigration advisors. Yes, they can assist with student visas. However, there is still risk of decline. They don't have the intimate knowledge of the visa process that we do. So we do often find we get a number of people who come to us once they're already in New Zealand studying and they're looking at their pathways to residency. or they're wanting to bring their family now that they're here. And then we actually go ahead and find out that the course that their offshore education agent has chosen isn't actually suitable for them to either obtain a residency visa or a post-study work visa or bring their family. So the bonus of using New Zealand Shores as your education agents is we can bring that extra level of knowledge to your service as an education agent. We know the visa process. We are licensed to assist with all different visa types, so we can map out your visa pathway from your student visa right through until residence. So important just to remember, do not go ahead and enroll yourself if you're wanting our assistance for free. Make sure that you come to us first. So I have reiterated that a few times, but it is a really important factor to be aware of if you do want that free immigration service. As I mentioned, we partner with a large number of education providers in New Zealand. So we partner with almost all universities in New Zealand, and then every polytechnic, which comes under a big umbrella in New Zealand, and then a number of private providers such as primary schools, secondary schools, private training organisations, and English language schools. So this isn't every single education provider that we do partner with, but this is just a bit of a snapshot. So you'll see there's a lot of the big providers that are listed there. But if you are interested in studying a course and the chosen provider isn't actually there, then just reach out to us, because the chances are we do already have an agreement with them. So, are you ready to go? Are you ready to take that next step and look at actually moving to New Zealand via the student pathway? If so, please reach out to study@newzealandshores.com. Our licensed advisors monitor that email address so someone can come back to you and organise an assessment of what that student visa pathway may look like based on your goals. We can start looking at course recommendations, and we can start planning for your future in New Zealand. So please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We're really excited that the government is really pushing this student visa pathway a lot more than what they have historically. And like I said, looking to double the numbers of international students in New Zealand and make the process a little bit easier. So reach out now. Now is a really good time to start working on the intakes for 2026. However, if you're watching this later, we can always start planning for your future here in New Zealand based on the student visa pathway. Looking forward to hearing from you.